feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Oh, I guess I did want to respond. Not really respond to a few videos. So there is a I've seen Abba and Preach. They actually did a video on the conversation that I had with me and Myron Gaines.
So last week we had a conversation in regards to the whole Nick Fuentes on Chud the Builder, and apparently somehow he had a more sensible take than Sneeko and many other people.
Praying that Chud has.
Okay, let me speed through this. I'm gonna go a little bit faster. Here we go.
At least one wignut on his jury and no grow eyebers. Free Chud.
I say send him to jail. I don't think what he did was defensible. Here I am with my live stream where I provoke confrontations. I hope I don't have to kill anybody today.
But then Myron decided to get online and show his ass.
We're tired of blacks. They can't even take accountability. Imagine a world where saying, hey, you gonna chimp out is fighting words that justify getting punched. What?
Myron, I'm gonna tell you what world that is. The world is every time I've watched Sneeko, he's like, everybody hold hands, let's come together, let's pray to Allah, this and third. And then I looked over, they put his face on a bomb, okay? So in the real world, I haven't seen Sneeko do nothing to nobody, but they'll put his face on a bomb and drop it on a city. When you have words, even if it's not violent, other people meet those words. If they feel what you're saying is violent or disrespectful or offensive, they meet that with violence.
All right, so they're mentioning the fact that Israel put Sneeko and Myron and many other people's names on bombs and then filmed it.
Oh shit, I never even seen these bombs. Holy shit. Holy. Andrew Tate, who's the heck are these people? Wait, where's Sneeko's name at though? Jake Shields. Oh.
And then dropped it in Gaza, okay?
It's offensive to them. And in their response to that offense is not by saying, you know what, we're mature. They're saying, put his name on a bomb and let's go kill some people. That's true, right?
They put my name on a bomb too.
They think the same about you. That's what I'm saying. People just think that people are, and they should not be able to do anything when they're offended. But when you offend people, your name is on a bomb.
Self-defense case to a geopolitical quagmire in the Middle East?
It doesn't start off as a self-defense case.
Israel-Palestine to this?
Whether it's this guy or Sneeko, one thing that they always do is that they don't understand the point the other person's making. So they're like, are you comparing a black person to God? Well, they don't get the point, and then they act like the other person's so stupid. Look at his face.
Don't like. It's offensive to them. Put his name on a bond and let's go kill some people. That's true.
Let me get this straight.
Now let's see if he gets the point. What's he gonna say?
Are you comparing a self-defense case? You're comparing Israel-Palestine to this?
Sneeko is a irrelevant commentator. Why are they putting his name on a bomb? Just like how is an irrelevant streamer. But you know why? Their rhetoric matters that much to the offended people that your name is on a bomb.
I feel like we're like dragging some of this stuff. Again, I feel like people have sides already, and I don't know, maybe I'm just biased too, but like I don't feel like I have a side because usually these are not the type of even issues that I'm the one that comes out to talk about. I just felt like this was one of the unilateral situations where I think everyone would agree with. So I'm actually even surprised that I'm having even discourse with the people who, you know, I'm actually cool with these people. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I'm cool with Myron. I'm cool with Sneeko. I'm actually surprised that these guys who actually think are really intelligent, when I hear them speak, are actually choosing to die on a really pointless hill. Okay, I see Abin Preach covered it. I seen Myron like respond back to this, which, you know, I guess I'll react to that, which is like a reaction. Everybody reacts to everybody, right? You know, I rather speak directly to people. Oh, I forgot. Myron's beefing with Abba and them. Okay, this is like a beef going on. I like to stay out of it. Even though
I want to keep this thing 1, 2. What do you mean you cutting me out? So I texted very calmly.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
These pirate niggas always jealous of me, bro. And you guys are gonna notice a trend here, by the way. Okay, you're gonna notice a trend with these fucking retards. Okay? But anyway, let's go ahead and see what the voodoo retard and the sodomite gotta say. Anus and Reach, aka Abort and Preach.
In regards to the whole Nick Fuentes on Chud the Builder, and apparently somehow he had a more sensible take than Sneeko and many other people.
Praying that Chud has at least one wignut on his jury and no grow eyebers. Free Chud.
I say send him to jail. I don't think what he did was defensible. What, like, here I am with my live stream where I provoke confrontations. I hope I don't have to kill anybody today. Like,
But then Myron
So here's the thing. Nick's opinion isn't the end all be all. We're all different people for different opinions with our different backgrounds and expertises. Now, this is what you don't realize, you stupid Canadian fuck. In our country, we have the Second Amendment. We can have guns. We also have states that have something called a stand your ground, which means we don't have to retreat like you stupid Canadian niggas. And you guys are French Canadian.
Myron hates these guys. Hates them.
Which is even worse. Canada's lost almost every war since Napoleon, bro. Okay?
So these two are Canadians. I think he's from like Montreal.
So you guys are extra cucked. Not only are you Canadian, but you're a French Canadian in Montreal. That's fucking embarrassing. Okay? So of course, cuckolds like you would not understand the concept of self-defense, no duty to retreat, having a gun, shooting motherfuckers, and defending yourself. This is a foreign concept to you guys. So we're already, as you guys can see here, we're already on uneven playing ground. Okay? These are Canadian niggas trying to comment on an American self-defense case in a red state. For those of you that don't know, Abba is a far-left progressive. He will not admit this openly, but he is.
All right, I'm going to skip past this. I'm going to try to get to the actual details here.
Because that's what both these sussy niggas are, by the way. Okay? His move a little too weird. But anyway, so Israel-Palestine and then use of force.
Okay, here we go.
You're a fucking quarterback thinking they know what the fuck. Search warrants and criminal complaints all the fucking time, and you're a rock star agent like in America. Okay? But let's go ahead and see what Akademiks has to say in these two retarded Canadians. Let's go ahead. And I love that they brought up this fucking clip. Time to bake these motherfuckers, okay? Can't even take accountability. Imagine a world where saying, hey, you gonna chimp out is fighting words that justifies getting punched. What?
Myron, I'm going to tell you what world that is. The world is every time I've watched Sneeko, he's like, everybody hold hands, let's come together, let's pray to Allah, this and third. And then I looked over, they put his face on a bomb.
Niggas blurred out Israel. Pussies.
Okay? So in the real world, I haven't seen Sneeko do nothing to nobody. But they'll put his face on a bomb and drop it on a city. When you have words, even if it's not violent, other people meet those words. If they feel what you're saying is violent or disrespectful or offensive, they meet that.
Now, this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to make this completely fair. I'm going to let Akademiks say everything, let them give their dumbass commentary, then I'll respond. Fair? I'm not going to stop it and all this other shit. Let me play from the beginning. I want you guys to pay a lot of attention to what's going to happen here. Akademiks is going to make a comparison between Israel-Palestine to the Chud self-defense case. And I'm going to explain to you why this is fucking ludicrous and the most asinine comparison I've ever seen in my life.
Myron is like a really intelligent guy. I think he breaks things down in a logical order most of the times. It baffles me why he keeps saying I'm comparing, and you're going to hear him do two extremes. I'm comparing a genocide to a self-defense case. I was comparing people being offended. And I tried to explain that in 40 different ways. On face value, he keeps trying to push self-defense case because that's his point. So he wants to get that across. No, I'm talking about people being offended. That's it. And the point is, when people are offended, they do things to respond to that. Whether it's offense that's going on in the Middle East, whether it's offense that is going on here domestically, whether you go to someone's homeland or someone's house and offend them, they might. And I think this is such a simple thing. And I'm kind of like watching I'm like, Myron, I know you get this point. But he constantly tries to say he's comparing a genocide to a self-defense case. First of all, I don't think this is a self-defense case. I think this is someone who doesn't understand self-defense. I've always said I don't believe that any jury will be seated that will agree that a punch in the face will the proportional response will be murder or shooting someone. So I don't think it's tantamount or equivalent at all. So I know he keeps saying self-defense because he wants to frame it like that. I have rejected the idea that the moment that he fired that shot, that was self-defense. I've rejected it. I don't believe that that's what it is at all. Now, of course, that's what he's going to try to argue, but it's the reason why he's charged. It's the reason why his bond is still over $1 million. It's the reason why it appears that, okay, cool, I get it. There's, self-defense lawyers are saying that It's the reason why he's in this quagmire to begin with. If the law actually agreed with this guy, he wouldn't be sitting in jail. And I get it. Oh, well, there's societal pressure. Well, again, if there's societal pressure, keep in mind, I get what Myron's arguing. If societal pressure exists that much, maybe perhaps there's going to be, the people in society that actually agree that you shouldn't or you can't shoot someone because you get punched in the face. And, I don't know why this argument is going so many different places. There's 2 places I've ever wanted this argument to go. Chud the Builder should be accepted by no one. He's an antagonist. If you think he has a right to antagonize because of freedom of speech, I think you're a divisive person. Arguing for freedom of speech and that people should be able to say whatever and not without consequences. First of all, freedom of speech is a argument that's usually meant to aim at the government. If you say the N-word, you cannot get incarcerated for that. But it doesn't mean socially you can't get punched in the face. There is no, okay, I got freedom of speech. Let me say what I want, but nothing could happen. Freedom of speech is something that protects you from the government oppression or government trying to control what you could say. So this argument that this is a freedom of speech thing, I'm still baffled. I'm like, what are we talking about? Just say that you think that this guy should be able to disrespect people and nothing happens. And I want to argue with anyone that I don't think this guy could disrespect the majority of groups of people with nothing happening. If they go to the DR and he has anti-Dominican Republic rhetoric, I think he's going to get punched in the face. I think if he goes to Dominica, a very small Caribbean island, and he has anti-Dominica rhetoric, he's going to get punched in the face. I think if he goes to Brazil and he has anti-Brazilian rhetoric, at some point, and he goes around in a Brazilian town, at some point he's getting punched in the face. The point is that when you disrespect, we don't have to go further. It's not about freedom of speech. Let's not change what this is. The government didn't say that this guy is banned from talking. And by the way, him being arrested and there being a gag order being put in place, anything to do with bail is not actually defended by the constitutional right. You don't have right to freedom when you're on bail. That's not what it is. It's a discretionary thing that's made by the judge, so your rights are not being infringed upon. So this idea of freedom of speech, I still don't know how his freedom of speech is being infringed upon. You could say what you want, but you might get punched in the face if you keep offending people, especially in public. The subsequent idea of, black people don't know how to act, that is something that is a reflection of your already negative thoughts about black people. If you have that thought, this is not a cultural thing. This is not an inner city thing. This is not a gun violence thing. This is not where you could kind of isolate black people to maybe where you're like, there's a lot of crime. This guy is indiscriminately approaching people with the skin color black. It could have been me, Myron. It could have been anybody else. There is zero reason why we should be talking about the lack of being able to control yourself, the culture that might promote violence has nothing to do with this situation. Nothing at all. So we start out with, it's not a freedom of speech thing. It's do I have the right to offend people and not get ever touched because I'm just an American, which that doesn't exist. And then it comes to what is Myron's point of him claiming it's self-defense. I reject it. And I want to, and again, he has said, and he keeps saying, I want his supporters shoot somebody the next time you get punched in the face and watch your ass be behind jail too. And if you got shot, if you shot somebody because you got punched in the face, again, I know Myron is former law enforcement, but maybe, listen, maybe my, concealed carry fucking instructor and the police that actually I talked to who would actually make these arrests in the local communities I'm in, obviously I live in Jersey. Maybe they're like, hey, listen, maybe in Jersey you can't shoot somebody if they punch you in the face. But I think that's a incorrect thing to tell people. Now, is there few times that maybe it would be permissible? It would be actually legally allowed? Yes. Is it a possibility? Yes, but there's many things that are possibilities. On face value, and I try to have this conversation with Myron a bunch of times, but he likes Chud. It's clear. He just likes Chud. I wanted him to make a blanket statement. Would you give a blanket advice to people who got punched in the face to shoot the person if they are armed with a gun? So if you get punched and you're armed with a gun, would you advise your followers or anyone to shoot someone? He kept saying, well, what if you're like, well, it depends if you're like you're a woman and you're like, imagine if stop it. Let's get hypotheticals out of the way. Think about what normally happens. We're talking about, and I watch Myron a lot on his show. He does an amazing job at, like these women he's debating with, they're fucking retarded, right? So it's like, a lot of times he's like, hey, we're talking generalities. We're not talking to 10%. We're not talking your anecdotal story. I'm talking to Myron. Myron's kind of using a lot of anecdotal shit. There is no woman getting punched by like a 6-foot man. We're talking about generally when someone gets punched in the face, generally, it's usually someone that is approximate size and weight. It's also usually approximately you're not in fear of your life. On a range of probabilities, you're not dying from a punch. Could you die from a punch? Of course. But if the idea is let's kill the person or shoot the person and then try to figure it out how to justify that I was in fear of my life or I was stunned or whatever else. And I see the bringing up of, what's the guy's name? George Zimmerman. If you think George Zimmerman's situation is anything close to what happened with Chud, you have a misunderstanding of this whole situation. First of all, the whole thing with Chud is caught on camera. With George Zimmerman, he had actually a decent case to make to the court that he was stunned to the point where he felt he was going to pass out. Now, granted, I guess what Myron Sport is trying to say is like, well, you know what? Anybody could make that point. Well, anybody could make that point except George Zimmerman had some physical damages, and also that story made sense based on the audio and a few other things. The point is this. You can't shoot somebody. Like, it's not even a Chud thing. Like, remove Chud. You can't shoot. Like, that's the problem with the people that like Chud. They want to really, and this is why I'm like, I can't tell if it's race to do with it. Y'all could have defended Chud's idea. If Chud beat the dude to a bloody pulp, I wouldn't even say nothing. The dude punched Chud first. I wouldn't even say nothing. The thing is that y'all trying to sanction murder for a racist guy who basically had planned to commit murder to basically appease his racist fans. And you're trying to sanction murder, and I'm saying murder, but shooting somebody, when if any other case, everybody would say, we don't approve of people shooting unarmed people, whether it's cops shooting unarmed people, or if you have a gun, it doesn't give you a license to commit murder if someone touches you. That's my thing. And trying to rewrite the book for this Chud guy, I'm like, these guys are dying on the wrong hill. Right? You have Sneeko who's arguing people shouldn't get offended by words. He's the most sensitive person when it comes to his religion. He's been talking about it for weeks now. You get what I'm saying? Okay, get him out of there. Then Myron is like, no, well, I'm arguing self-defense. This is a self-defense case. Okay. I've said this would be a self-defense situation if it was proportional. On a range of probabilities, generally, you cannot shoot someone if you get punched in the face. That is not self-defense. And that's where our disagreement lies. Myron argues these other points that I'm like, I don't even care about. And that's where, like, I think this whole argument has an impasse. Right? Now, Myron claims that, hey, listen, based on the people he's talked to, he has a understanding that the gunshots were validated. I'll put up a friendly bet with him because that's the only thing I care about. Him shooting that man was not validated. And that does not negate the fact that, yes, I agree that the dude probably was violent with Chud first, but punching someone does not mean you could shoot them. And doesn't mean you could try to execute them. That's my point. I'll try to play a little bit more of this, but I think I've restated my point. If it was too long and convoluted, I get also we're kind of in a debate, so there's a lot of interruptions, but hope you guys understood. Let me play a little bit of this and then we'll move on.
And it's not analogous whatsoever. And I'm going to explain it line by fucking line because they literally picked the worst person to take Israel-Palestine and then a self-defense case and tried to combine the two. So I'm going to play this from the beginning to give full charitability to Akademiks and these two fucking bozos. And you guys are going to see the intelligence gap here in a second. Because these niggas really think they're smart and they're not. And it's fucking painful that they think they're so smart. What's the fucking hubris and the pompousness and the way they deliver their stupid fucking commentary? All right? I'm going to play it all the way through for you guys. Blacks. They can't even take accountability. Imagine a world where saying, hey, you got...
All right.
They think the same about you.
All right, I want to get to what he's saying.
Nico is a irrelevant commentator. Why they putting his name?
It's agree on is that the Israel-Palestine conflict is analogous to the Chud Take their self-defense case. Now, let's go.
Let me pause it there. Myron is too smart to literally keep saying this. No one said Israel-Palestine conflict is analogous to the Chud Take, and he's going to call it self-defense case. I don't think there's a self-defense case, so I'm just going to call it Chud Take case. No. What Myron, and if anyone clips this and Myron's going to react to this, Myron, what we have been asking you or saying to you, and when I say we, there's not like a conglomerate, I'm just really just me. But I think with people when are adding on to the commentary, whether, you know, people in the comment section or whatever, they're asking you, we're comparing, or I'm comparing, disrespect of black folks to people that might disrespect Israelis or Palestinians. What happens when either group are disrespected? Okay, if you disrespect 100 black dudes, maybe one will punch you in the face. If you disrespect the entire group of Israelis, or maybe let's just say Jewish people, one person might put your name on a bomb. That's the analogous thing. Not the conflict and not this make-believe self-defense case. Disrespect. Basically, if we want to really bring it back, maybe these situations are avoided, not the conflict, but your name on a bomb and you getting punched in the face, right? Two different incidents. Chud Take just got punched in the face. Myron and Sneako's name is on a bomb. Maybe they both get eliminated if there's no disrespect. So the first thing that Myron should address is disrespect. What should happen? Because what was framed by Sneako, and I think doubled down on by Myron, is that black people are the low IQ ilk that don't know how to control themselves when disrespected, and they act violently. I disagree. To Myron, to Sneako, to anyone who feels like this, I would argue I could go through every single group of people that if you disrespect them at certain points, you will have a member of that group be violent. So that proves that either you have a severe disdain for black people and are singling them out, or you're conveniently ignoring the fact that every fucking group in the world would have the same reaction eventually, one person at least. That's what I was comparing. We're not talking about a conflict. Let's not move anything around. Disrespect is the first order of business. Now, when either of these guys or anybody who wants to have this discussion with me, tell me how black people generally deal with disrespect, especially this type of disrespect from someone not of their group, and how other people deal with it, and show me the significance of how black people are just the worst with handling it. Maybe we could continue that conversation. But I actually dare to beg that no one will actually focus on that point, because I could probably show a lot more people in the world from other groups when they disagree with people that's not of the same group. Eventually, and at sometimes, they're more radical than giving a punch. They put a bullet in niggas' heads, they blow up buildings, they do a lot of shit that's worse than black people. So nobody wants to talk about disrespect because, again, disrespect is seen to be nothing when it comes to black people. We're not talking about the conflict. We're the first order of business, disrespect. If we can't talk about, and I'm down to talk about it with anybody, we could talk about how black people deal with disrespect from other races, how they react, and then how white people, Muslims, Jewish people, Asian people, we could talk about any Indian people. We could talk about how they deal with disrespect. And if then we could come to a conclusion on who are the low IQ group, or who are the dummies, or who lack the the emotional intelligence or self-control, maybe we could come to some conclusions. But we'll be armed with facts about how every single group, when they're disrespected, what happened in their response. But that's my first order of business. So that's disrespect. My second order of business. My second order of business is, are we going to sit here and yes, we could remove the Chud the Builder and the, what's his name, Joshua. We could remove the people from this, because I actually believe if anybody think that this guy is justified to shoot someone, they're not really thinking about quote unquote self-defense. They're really just defending this guy. Let's remove both of them. In what world are you trying to, you're trying to die on the hill saying a punch equals a gunshot? And how is that self-defense? Now, answer that before trying to wiggle it into, because now everybody got some type of detail. Well, they were falling to the ground, rustling for their gun. That sounds amazing, but we don't know. Everybody claims they've seen the video except me. I haven't seen the video, so we're all speculating. I'm going off the verifiable fact. Man gets punched in the face. Man shoots person that punched in the face. That's not self-defense in my book. We could argue. Maybe there's some video that comes out that maybe makes me think otherwise. Maybe there's video that comes out that I hope y'all would think otherwise if it doesn't go in your favor. But those are the only two arguments. Now, the idea that people are quick to say, well, with Chud, it's automatic self-defense. However, when we think about, what was the other guy, the black kid, was it Carmelo Anthony? Does he get the same, benefit of the doubt? Why does Chud get the automatic benefit of the doubt? I could use lethal force over a punch, but all these other people, a lot of times we're actually in the place of saying, let's sit back and kind of figure out the facts. Let's be honest. There's an agenda to actually embolden people like Chud the Builder, and it's for no other reason than the fact that the group that he's disrespected, people feel it's free lunch disrespecting. So Chud is doing what people been wanted to do. They just didn't want the consequences them damn self. So now when he's in trouble, they feel like, oh, we gotta try to make it. No. The boy got put in jail for doing that, and to be honest, he lucky ain't catch a hot one. He's a divisive person, and trying to figure out a way to justify his actions under the law, when on face value, I don't think people would agree. If you get punched, you could shoot. Forget the people. You get punched, you could shoot. That's not what most people, I think, believe. So after that, I'm like, why does this Chud guy mean so much to y'all? Why? What is he doing? But he does stand for something. He stands for this divisive rhetoric, and his rhetoric only seems to be targeted on pulling down one group of people. So yes, I think people start looking at everybody else and say, yeah, there's something else going on here. You have Sneeko, who said it was amusing watching him antagonize black people. It wasn't amusing when I started talking about his religion. He was actually highly upset. He spoke about it on several streams afterwards. There's no more amusement. The amusement is done. We've noticed that nobody wants to talk about disrespect. They want to talk about, well, y'all need to get disrespected and not do nothing. Well, that's not what other people do. That's what nobody does. So, again, we're at an impasse. We're going to figure out what happens to Chud. But if we had to simplify my viewpoints, if anyone does want to respond to this, all of this other stuff, your relationship with this weird guy, Chud the Builder, if you want to hang your hat on his position and live and die on it, cool. I have two positions. I have the position that says that anyone who's in the mindset of saying that black people who are disrespected need to be smarter and be more intelligent to not respond, I think you should look at, if we're looking in the intelligence meter, you probably should look in the mirror. Because in every group, once disrespect get to a certain point, there's a reaction. Maybe not by the entire group, but there's always a few. It's the reason why they got radical this and radical that. So that's disrespect. And if we're not talking about disrespect, because, you know, another thing too, and I've seen on Twitter, there's a bunch of racists trying to like argue this on Twitter. They don't understand the idea of disrespect because they feel like it's normal speech to be able to go around and call people the N. Like, you realize Sneeko at first was saying, why are y'all so bothered by the N-word? Like, he's basically saying, so what the fuck if we disrespect you? And the mere fact that it's taken now weeks and he haven't even came around to be like, you know what? I kind of understand, like, it's a hurtful word. Like, they can't even admit that. It's a hurtful word. What their argument is, so if someone says it don't mean you can do nothing. You missed the point again. You think that disrespect should have zero ramifications when we're saying that disrespect is penalized by every single group when someone outside that group does it. And we could show many examples. But listen, you know, hopefully this conversation doesn't pull, you know, the majority of people more apart. You know, I always said from the get-go, as much as whatever you might think, I saw this Chud guy as a divider. You know, right now, I wouldn't say black and white people relationship are the best, but it's better than it's been in some years. And most topics, people could identify with it rather than going down racial lines. And this guy was trying to bring us back to the fucking 60s, man. Like, this guy was trying to bring us back to more of a racially tense time. And, you know, me hoping that he was, you know, get this nigga out of the way is because he was trying to reduce progress. And anyone who was supporting him saying, nah, he should be this, that, and third, it's clearly you're not into racial unity. Like, shit, there's nothing wrong with black people. There ain't nothing wrong with white people, Hispanic people. There ain't nothing wrong with people who are Asian, Indian. Like, bruv, like, you know what I mean? Like, but also, the last thing I'll say is, you know y'all are doing too much and expecting too much disrespect to be accepted by black people when even I gotta speak up. Come on now, bro. Come on, man. Like, I'm the last nigga to be like, yo, all right, hold on, man. Chill out on the black people. Chill out on that. Yo, come on now. Chill out on the niggas now. Come on. But come on. But we can't co-sign Chud the Builder. Like, that's one dude we can't. He got to go. Like, go. And go he did. And to be honest, we gotta stick on this point because copycats will get when they start hearing this type of rhetoric saying, nah, like, wait, we're blaming black people for this? Wait, hold on. Wait, you crazy? Oh, hell no. Nah. Oh, hell no. Nah. We got to get this shit straight. Let's get them out the way, get back to business. That's all. Get them out the way, get back to business. We got different shit going on, man. Like, get them out the way, get back to business, man. Like, that's it. Get them out of the way, right? And I'm just slightly disappointed. Like, you don't want to. I'm slightly disappointed with Sneeko and Myron because even though, and I heard Myron say, I don't necessarily support what he does, but I'm like, well, based on how you're trying to defend a position that I don't even think if we ran a poll, most people would agree with you, except maybe the people who already have the thoughts of, trying to support this guy because of whatever racism he's espousing. You're trying to live and die on a person who you just generally, you don't even support what the hell they have been doing or even what got them in this situation in terms of antagonizing. So, whatever. Okay. Anyway. Oh, what's that? Ex-CIA officer arrested with $40 million in gold bars and what?